How's it going, folks? It is that time for a new visual novel, and I had a few tech hiccups there when first getting started. And the other factor too is one, I'm actually using a new streaming system. I was using OBS before. Now I'm using Streamlabs OBS, so I'm still kind of getting used to everything that's going on. And I'm just gonna check something right quick. Okay, yeah. Okay, at least you guys are seeing the video, so that's good. Just wanted to verify that. Okay, so this is a visual novel that was recommended by Bottle Dan, one of my moderators for my Discord chat. And it is called If My Heart Had Wings. I have never actually heard of this particular visual novel before, and I really don't know anything about it. So I'm going in this completely first timer. And I would say right now, I really like the display of the windmills that they got there. And this entire scenery right there, I could just really lay in the grass and just take in this scenery all day. That's actually spectacular. All right, so without further delay, we're going to get started here. So let me do one thing right quick, and that is check on the actual stream mix. I'm a bit of an audiophile, so I want to make sure that things are fairly decent. Just make sure the audio and everything else is pretty much balanced out. So I'm actually listening to the streaming mix right now and determining a decent level. I can also see you guys in the chat, in the stream chat with this new software. So if you find that there's definitely something that seems out of balance to you, I'll definitely see it. So it's still a little bit of a delay because, again, if you notice that a lot of the frames are dropping, there's a lot of video lag. It's because of my current internet connection, so I'm hoping to have that fixed by January, as I'm going to get a much faster internet connection by then. So I do appreciate you sticking with me during this time period. This is the final stream for 2018. There will be a couple of streams coming up in 2019, and I will show those on the list after this particular stream is over. And pretty much, I would say mid-January, probably late January is when I'll more likely get the new internet, because there's a few other things I have to do along with that. There's another set of network stuff that's riding on the same Ethernet system that I have to get new network switches for to make all that work for internet and the other portion of IT that's going on there. But pardon me, it wasn't long ago that I got over a cold, so. Definitely thank you for bearing with me on that. All right, so without further ado, let's get going here. Let's get started. And as I will do with my typical way of streaming, I will, when there's an internal monologue, add reverb to give that internal monologue effect. So here we go. The bicycle road race is known as a really harsh sport. The hill climb in the middle is hell, too. While putting strain on every muscle in your body, you have to continue pedaling without any brakes to climb a steep hill. See what we got here. Hey, S Visions, good to see you, man. Yeah, that's okay, S Visions. And again, it's going to be archived. It's going to be uploaded because I am recording this locally and actually going to upload it after the stream is over. So that'll give you a chance to view it after that too. But thanks for stopping by for the short time you could, and definitely looking forward to you coming back. And thanks for sticking around. And for those of you still here, thank you very much for us coming on in. All right, so we're going to continue here. At that time, I always think. I can't do this anymore. I'll make this race my last. Even though I think that every time, in the end, I still take part in the next race. I've endured severe training so that I don't put my feet down halfway through the hill climb. Okay, the text going forth is a bit slow for me, so I'm actually going to set that to be just a little bit faster if I can. Now let's do the message speed so it's pretty fast. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's get back to it. I've endured severe training so that I don't put my feet down halfway through the hill climb. Why do I do that? Because once I finish the hill climb, I am waiting for my reward. Nothing compares to the feeling of cutting through the wind as I race down the hill. As I race downhill, Okay, let me start that over because I'm completely out of it. Nothing compares to the feeling of cutting through the wind as I race down the downhill section at blistering speed. At that moment, I feel an incredible rush. Then I realize that I have forgotten about everything. The pain of the hill climb, the strain on every muscle in my body, and the days of hard practice. It's not a matter of whether I win or lose the race. I just enjoy it, and that's why I continue to ride. That's how it should have been. I still didn't have much life experience at that time, and it was something beyond my imagination. Suddenly, without warning, something was taken from me. I could also say shut away or lost. However, to directly express the emotion I felt at the time, taken is the word that fits best. So there was one thing I learned. Life isn't all about having fun. I gained a lesson in life. The thing I lost was everything. I let myself get depressed about this, but I should have thought about it a little more. If something could be taken from me so abruptly, then something could be given to me just as suddenly. The wind blew, a gentle but strong wind. It would not be unreasonable to call it an encounter. What this could be the start of, even now, there's still no way for me to know. The windmill is turning. People are overwhelmed just because of the size of such enormous things. This unnatural silhouette serves a function, but to those who don't know what it is, it would appear to be something very bizarre. With so many lined up like this, it could be said to be even more overwhelming. But why is that? The sight of the white windmills lined up on the green hill somehow seemed so picturesque. This is amazing. Oh, is that us? I didn't read the synapse, but I think this is us. This is amazing. To think that's something... Oh, wait a minute. Is this a... Okay, I did not do my due diligence. Let me see something right quick. I do apologize, folks. It's actually been a long couple of weeks, too. Okay. Alright. Alright, I'm good. This is amazing. To think that something like this could be made. At the very least, 5 years ago, there was nothing here, just a wide open space. I heard they were going to build a large-scale renewable energy research facility. The cell phone in my pocket vibrated to tell me I had received a text. It's from Anchan. To Aoi. Did you arrive here already? Sorry, I couldn't come to meet you. My name is written using a Chinese character read as Aoi. It's a difficult character and is often mistaken for Midori. Incidentally, whether it is Aoi or Midori, it is often mistaken for a girl's name, which causes a few problems. Like I just misinterpreted. I'll quickly write a reply. I hardly ever use text, so I find the key touch awkward to use. I got here a little too early, so I'm just going for a stroll. The windmills are amazing. Okay, send. The reply came quickly. They're great, aren't they? It's the new famous spot of Kazegaura. If you have any problems, contact me anytime. Anchan. Thank you, Anchan. As I sent the text, I sat down on the grass. This place is on the hillside, so from there I was able to gaze at the lake and the town that stretches across the opposite bank. The rapid redevelopment of the town of Kazegaura meant that the remnants of the old buildings from the Showa era are intermingled with the modern architecture. The view expresses both the past and the future at the same time. Something white flitted across from my field of vision. For a moment, it looked like one of the windmill blades had come flying off, but there's no way that could happen. Is it a paper airplane? I got up and headed down the slope to look for it. The paper airplane, gliding gently, eventually lost its momentum and descended. Gotcha! I ran ahead of it, did a small jump and caught it in midair. Where did this come flying from? Judging by direction, it had come from the top of the hill. At a time and place like this, could there be someone here besides me? I took the paper airplane with me as I climbed up the slope. Just as I was able to see the top, a sudden gust of strong wind blew the paper airplane out of my hand. Ah! Hey, wait! I chased after the paper airplane and ran up the slope. I'm digging this music. Then just as I finally caught it. You like that little rise of music that I did there? Okay, looks like we're gonna meet our first character here. There was someone at the top of the hill. It was a girl sitting in a wheelchair. Looking fleetingly into the distant sky, a sudden breeze blew her hair and she combed it back with her fingers. Against the background of the blue sky and the windmills that spread across my view, this girl's black hair and white blouse looked incredible. It was as if I was looking at a completed work of art. The girl noticed me. At first I thought I should make an excuse for why I was there. It was like I had stepped into her world without permission, and I started to feel guilty. She's not saying anything. Some guy had just suddenly appeared, so perhaps she's being cautious. To show her the reason why I had come here, I held out the paper airplane. Did you throw this? The moment she saw it, her facial expression stiffened. She looks like she's welling up. Suddenly, tears appeared in those delicate eyes. Huh? What? The tears that had welled up in the corners of her eyes came running straight down. As I watched, great big tears came rolling down her cheeks. When I heard the music on that one, it sounded like it was kind of fighting with her, with the vocals, so I'm going to try to adjust that a little bit. Let's see what that does. Huh? Hey. Without thinking, I walked up beside her. What's wrong? Do you hurt somewhere? As she shook her head, she touched the hand that I had unconsciously held out as if she were clinging to it. Her hand was small and trembling. She gently squeezed my hand. It's okay now. I didn't even know what the situation was. However, as I answered, I squeezed her hand back. Ah! Ouch! Before I knew it, there was something like a chicken at my feet, and all of a sudden it started pecking at me. Wow. Ow! That hurts! What is this thing? She knows this animal? Hat, as it was called, calmed down at her command. Is it a duck? With a yellow beak and white feathers, it was a duck that looked like a chicken. For some reason, it was wearing a hat. This animal must be here to protect you in a certain way. Okay. So this is how surprising it is to be suddenly attacked by an animal. However, thanks to that, it looked like she had stopped crying. Is a towel okay? I don't carry a handkerchief around with me. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't carry a handkerchief around with me. As I said that, without waiting for her to reply, I took a hand towel out of my bag. Of course, it had been washed, so it was clean. Why were you crying? If it hurt somewhere? If it hurts somewhere... As she answered, she pointed to one of the wheels of her wheelchair. It had lost its air and had collapsed. You got a flat tire?
おかげで立ち往生していたの。もう1時間もよ。
Oof. That's a terrible thing to happen. Just a mere flat tire for her is like having her legs taken away. Don't you have a cell phone?
部屋に置いてきた。
She answered, dismayed.
だから他の方法で助けを呼ぼうと思って。そしたら SOS を受け取って来てくれた人がいたから。
SOS? Oh, this. I opened up the paper airplane that I still had in my hand. I'm in trouble. Someone help me. I'm on a windmill hill. So when someone arrived carrying the paper airplane, she felt relieved and started to cry. Now she was fine, but until just now, she was shaking. That must be how scared she was. Hold on a moment. The bag at my feet rustled as I rummaged around inside it. When she saw the tools I had taken out, she seemed confused. Would it be okay for you to get out for a moment?
どうして？
I'm gonna fix it. You can't go anywhere if you have a flat tire, can you?
そうだけど、手貸してもらってもいいかしら。
Of course. Getting out of the wheelchair is not easy for her. What should I do? A little awkward. From the methods I'd seen on TV, the care workers do it by embracing them from the front. We both looked as though we'd imagined that situation and froze.
やっぱり自分で。
Okay. Excuse me a moment. What are you doing? As I put my arms around her sides to her back, I suddenly lifted her up. Whoa, she's so light. Because she was much lighter than I expected, there was a bit too much momentum. Up! Before she could grasp the situation, I put her down on the soft grass. I'll have it done soon, so hold on a minute. They're made in the same way as bicycle tires. I immediately started on the repairs. She's behind me, so I can't see her expression, but I had a feeling I was being stared at with contempt. As I was quietly working, the duck was waddling around me and pecking at the soil. Is this duck your pet?
違う。ただの同居人。
Housemates?
散歩しようと思ったら勝手についてきちゃったのよ。ハト、あんまり遠くへ行っちゃダメよ。置いてっちゃうんだから。わあ。
Do ducks recognize their own names? When he's called, he responds by turning around. Hey, he's pretty smart.
そうなのよ。だから困るの。いたずらばっかりして。
Oof. As I looked at the duck, I saw her legs laid out on the grass in my field of vision. So she can't move them. There are a number of reasons why people need to use a wheelchair, but it looked like she had a disability in her legs. When I picked her up just now, her body stiffened up with surprise, but there was no strength at all in her legs. The duck returned from his little excursion. While walking around her, he would occasionally try to jump onto her lap.
邪魔。
Wow. She had said as she made him get down again. As I watched this exchange from the corner of my eye, I fixed the flat tire.
男の子ってすごいのね。そんな道具いつも持ち歩いてるんだ。
I'll admit I do walk around with a multi-tool when I'm on the job, of course. But whenever I'm out of uniform, of course I'm not carrying tools around me, but I do know and have access to tools. That's not really the case, though. I sometimes carry them with me.
私、草の上に座るのなんて久しぶり。柔らかくて気持ちいい。
As she said that, she made a little sound as she stretched.
いいところよね。ここ。
Yeah, it is.
部屋の窓から見えるのよ。一度来てみたかったの。
The wind blows through here. 5 years ago, there were no windmills, though.
5年前？
I've just come back to town.
そうなんだ。
She directed her gaze at something far away.
じゃああなたは故郷に帰ってきたんだ。
Yeah. She suddenly looked down and seemed lonely and strangely sad. There was an awkward silence as I continued working. The duck twisted its neck to look up at the sky.
どうしたの？ハット。
She was tempted to look up too.
何かしらあれ。
What's that?
何か飛んでる。
There was something floating in the air. It was crossing the lake and gradually getting closer. Well, that explains it. At first, I thought it was a paper airplane that she had thrown coming back to us, but it wasn't. It crossed the lake and eventually reached the air above the small hill where we were. An airplane? It's not paper, it's a real plane. But what is this? Its silhouette is much thinner than any plane I know and had wings really big.
グライダーだ。間違いない。あれ、グライダーよ。
A glider? I repeated the name as if to confirm it, and then looked to the sky once more. With its big white wings and white silhouette, it reminded me somewhat of a seagull.
ほら、見て。旋回してる。綺麗ね。
The glider is continuing to turn leisurely above our heads. It's flying ever so slowly.
当然よ。水力がないんだもの。
As it proceeded slowly across the blue sky, it seemed to be floating rather than flying.
あんな風に飛ぶんだ。
It looks like it would feel nice.
降りてきた。
The turning glider looks as if it had given up on rising and came down towards the top of our hill. I mean, it's not like it was coming down to land. It was just reducing its altitude. Why don't we try waving? They might notice us. She earnestly stretched out her hand and waved towards the white aircraft floating in the sky. Let me see if I can adjust the volume balance just a little bit more. Let me raise this up a little bit to compensate. And we should have a steady mix. Let's bring the sound effects down a bit. I don't know if the pilot noticed us or not. However, the wings reflected a gleaming light, and it really did look as if it was answering us, calling out to it. Then the glider turned its back to us and flew away, back to the other side of the lake where it had come from.
ちょっと
She mumbled sadly as she lowered her hand. Extend the little wings which fly in this sky highly. That's a classic sound effect, by the way. I tend to hear that sound all the time in most animes. I fixed the flat tire and went with her into the town. This was the residential area on the opposite bank of the lake to Windmill Hill, where we were just now.
ここでいいわ
I'll take you back to your home.
いい
It seemed like she was going to say, but before she stopped. For a girl with a walking disability, just because she was shown a little kindness, she can't bring some guy she hardly knows back to her house.
ありがとうおかげで助かったわ
Don't mention it. If your tire ever goes flat again, call me anytime. I only said it as a joke, but she blushed and looked down nervously.
わあのねありがとう
Hmm? If you're thanking me, you already did that just now.
ちょっとだけ楽しかった友達と遊ぶみたいで
Yeah, me too. And I saw something unusual, too. The glider that we had just seen was now flying in the air above the hill where we were just now.
私も本物を見たの初めて素敵な思い出ができちゃった
She murmured quietly and giggled. Coupled with her cute and dainty appearance was her lovely smile.
それじゃもう行くわね
Okay, take care.
ええ
The wheels squeaked as she pushed the wheelchair along with her hands down the empty street. Behind her, the duck wearing a hat waddled along with her. Hey. She stopped her hands and turned to face me. See you again. She looked troubled and embarrassed, then left without saying anything. She sure was cute. Where is she from? Her appearance was quite graceful, as if she were the daughter of a rich family. A little lady with a duck. It was an odd combination, but they seemed strangely familiar with each other. Okay, I better go. Now I'm going to the dormitory called Flying Fish Manor. Due to certain circumstances, that place will be my new home. While walking along the gently sloping street, I look up at the clouds moving above. Floating so freely like that, they remind me of the glider. That distinctive silhouette had left a mysterious impression on me. I finally found it. This place. This place. Is this it? Folks, and acting like you're out of breath is murder, because you're just like getting hyperventilated and almost passing out. It literally is. Flying Fish Manor. There's such a big difference between its appearance and its name. It's like giving a tough-looking Japanese Tosa a name like Lily. At least call it a Mason do Flying Fish or something. Phew. That's why even though I looked everywhere, I still couldn't find it. Because I thought it's not this place. I completely ruled out and then walked around this area. Even now, I still can't believe it. So I'll check the sign one more time. Flying Fish Manor. There's no doubt about it. Even so, I'm still not entirely convinced. I mean, I know a lot about this place. Ooh. It's an old European-style building on the shore of the lake, and because its appearance is a little spooky, when we were kids, we called this building the Witch's Mansion. It's a test of courage. We would often sneak into the yard. We just thought it was a rich person's residence, but it's a dormitory. Keifu Private Academy Student Dormitory. I can't just stand here in shock. Okay. I took a deep breath and stood up straight. May I come in?
あら？お客さん？
Oh boy. Whoa! Suddenly a girl in her underwear appeared before me, and the expression that I had tried so hard to straighten up crumbled instantly.
どちら様ですか？
Why? She's the one who should be worried about having been seen, but why am I the one feeling under pressure?
訪問販売はお断りしてます。どうしたの、かなちゃん？
Oh boy.
なんかお客さんみたい。お客さん？男の人？
From inside, the other girl, this one was wearing clothes, showed her face, but when she saw me, she let out a hysteric scream. At the same time, the glasses she was wearing looked like they were about to slip off. Hang on a second, guys. There we go. It seems this girl named Kana is a little bit disoriented.
どうしたの？
Another girl appeared.
あ、ゆかさん。知らない男の子がかなちゃんの裸を。
Why do they always exaggerate on this stuff? He did not see her naked. Why do they do that?
なんですって？
Huh? What? Huh? No, that's not it. Just like a god of salvation, my cell phone rang. The word mom was shown on the display. Excuse me a minute. I quickly pressed the button to answer the call while swiftly escaping outside. Mom?
そろそろ飛び噂について落ち着いてる頃だと思って。どんな感じ？
Well, the place is full of girls. And I saw one of them in her underwear.
当たり前じゃない。だってそこ。
Yeah? I had checked the sign over and over, but then I noticed some small writing in the corner. Girls' dormitory. This is a girls' dormitory or dormitory?
あら、言ってなかったかしら。
Did you do this on purpose? What is this? What kind of mother are you? From now on, I'm going to be this place's dorm mother? Aren't I?
大丈夫よ。オーナーさんも寮生の方たちも了解してくれてるから。
Is she trying to find him a wife so he doesn't become a NEET or something? Just now, they were screaming at the top of their lungs.
あら、間違えて更衣室入っちゃった？
That damn mother of mine. She's enjoying the situation. The front door opened slightly and the girls from just now were peeking through.
どうサナちゃん。まだいます。
When I called out to them, like a surprised turtle, they pulled their faces back inside and shut the door. What should I do about this? Well, this is the situation.
ほうほう。じゃああなたが新しい寮母さんなんだ。
Couldn't they at least say dorm father? While I was explaining the situation, the boarding students, apart from the girl in the underwear who was putting on some clothes, surrounded me but kept their distance and watched at me. This is no good, is it? A boy being the dorm mother of a girl's dormitory.
いいんじゃないの？
From behind the underwear girl, she was wearing clothes now, but they were pretty gaudy. Were some girls who looked like they were hiding, but they were nodding and agreeing.
誰か来てくれないともっと困るから。
そうなのよね。でももっと年配の人だとばかり思ってて。
はい。
Incidentally, there is now one more person than before. She was kind of timid and looked to be the same age or maybe a year younger than me. What is it?
葵くんって言ったっけ？年はいくつ？
I'm still a student. From tomorrow, I'll be going to Keifu Academy. I'm in the 2nd grade.
へえ、じゃあ年下なんだ。
He, she said. What do you mean, he? The person who came to speak to all of you is my mother. And, well, she kind of half-tricked me into accepting the job as dorm mother. My mom has a job connected to real estate, and her company manages this property.
ですって。どうしますゆかさん。チェンジします？
そういう事情なら。
The person who seemed the oldest said so, and the other people reluctantly nodded in agreement. This is just until the owner-caretaker comes back or we find someone else. I apologize for the inconvenience, but for the time being, let's all try to get along. Once the conversation was over, naturally, everyone left and went back to their rooms.
いやー、なんかごめんね。みんなおぼこい娘さんたちのもんで、若い男を前にして舞い上がっちゃってんのよ。私はしぐれかな子。なんかあったら私に言ってちょうだい。管理人さんの部屋は1階の廊下の突き当たりよ。
Thank you very much. Was that all of the boarding students? There's the underwear girl and Kanako, who is with me now. Yuka, the tall girl with the long hair, and Sana, the girl with the glasses. The timid one who came from the back is Ryoko. That's 4 people altogether.
ああ、もう一人いるんだけど、いわゆる引きこもりというやつで、そのうち出てくるんじゃないかな。
In other words, there are 5 boarders in total. This building is pretty big, but there are only 5 people living here. Come to think of it, my mom didn't say that there are quite a few empty rooms. Oh, I'm sorry. My mom did say there are quite a few empty rooms. It's old and a little far from the school, so maybe it's not that popular.
汗かいちゃったから、もう一回お風呂入ってこよっと。
Have fun with that. Anyway, the conversation ended well, so I'll call my mother to let her know. So, in the end, we somehow worked things out.
さあ、それはよかったわ。言っておくけど、寮の子に手出しちゃダメよ。
That's a no-brainer. What are you talking about, Mom?
まあ、問題にならない程度ならいいけど。あ、それから、前に言ったと思うけど、一人足の不自由な子がいるから。
As if we didn't see that one coming. Suddenly, the sound of flapping wings came from the hallway. Then a shrill voice sounded out.
待ちなさい、ハット！ぐわー！
Huh? Something big and white came flying down the hallway from behind at breakneck speed. Oh boy. Was the girl in the wheelchair?
待て、このバカアヒル！私のパンツ返しなさい！
Oh my, my, my. The big white thing, which somehow seemed like a duck, was flapping its wings and flew behind me. The girl in the wheelchair avoided all the obstacles in her path. In other words, me, and chased down the duck like a drift racer. I was so overwhelmed by the speed that I couldn't say anything.
捕まえたわよ、ハット。
The girl in the wheelchair caught the duck at my feet and snatched away a small white cloth, possibly panties, from his beak.
まったくあんたはいたずらばっかりして、今度やったら北京ダックにしてやるんだから。
Duck feast, I'll take it. The girl put the duck on her knee and lectured him. I remembered seeing that before. However, it's somehow a lot different to the image she had during the day. In the daytime, she seemed more dainty and delicate. However, her appearance was the same. It's not often that you see such a pretty girl. Looks like your tire is in good condition.
Huh?
She finally realized that there was a guy standing there. Peekaboo. That's not funny. Anyways, here we go.
もしもし、葵？聞いてるの？
Yeah, what was it?
足が不自由な子がいるから面倒を見てあげてねって話よ。
And so it begins. So it begins. Sure, I got it. Okay, talk to you soon, Mom. I replied as I ended the call.
どうしてあなたがここに？
She got as far as saying that, but then realized that she has the small cloth in her hand and tried to hide it by stuffing it under her backside.
なんでここにいるの？新しい寮母さんだよ、小鳥ちゃん。
Kanako, who was supposed to be having a bath, poked her head out. I guess I better do that. Oh, shoot. Yeah, on this that's what I forgot to do with this software. Why did it mute out? I hate when it does that. I hate when this thing mutes out. There we go. Hang on a second, guys. And it mute, sorry that it muted out again. I had that same problem with the other OBS system. It would always mute out for some reason. So I'll keep an eye on that. Okay, there we go. That's actually what I was trying to do. So now that that's set, let's continue.
Hi? 何よそれ、聞いてないんですけど。いようにも小鳥ちゃん、めったに部屋から出てこないんだもん。
She's got a point. The audio mix sounds just a little bit off. Let's bring it up just a little bit, just to kind of balance all that out. And I'm listening to the stream mix, so that's one way for me to stay ahead. So in case some of you may be a little bit curious about that, so let me just show you my rig right quick. The cable is a little bit, let's see, there it is. All right, so I'm gonna hold the camera overhead, and here we go. All right, so this is my setup over here that I got, and what I'm doing is on this side, these two faders right here, they're actually grouped together because it's true stereo. So the one on the right over here, that's actually the one for my headphones feed, and then the one on the left here, that's the one that's controlling the feed to you guys. So as you see, I lower it and then I bring it back up. So that's the feed going to you. On this side over here, this is actually my two of these are my microphones. One of them is going to my headphones, and then the other is feeding the actual stream. Now, when I say I'm listening to the stream mix, this is a pretty advanced mixing console. So if I hit this button, this is the master layer where all the master outputs are. So as you can see, this light that's blinking right here, I'm actually routing this because this is the stream mix, the master output for the stream mix. So I'm actually routing that to my headphones so I can listen to that in real time. If you want to know what's all routed to the stream mix, this is what's currently routed there. So it's my microphone. That's another micro. That's it. This is basically the same one as the other. And this, again, this is the game stream. And then this is actually if I want to do something with Discord, when I have my Discord chat, stuff like that. So that's a little rundown. This red one over here is just the master output for what I'm currently using just to route my headphones. So just thought I'd give you a little display to that. So when I'm actually doing the audio mixing, I'm doing it real time. And just another heads up, on the fader on the far left, this is what I'm using to control the reverb send. So as you can hear, you could probably, let me see, did I set it? Oh wait, I set it to the wrong one. Okay, so back on the main layer, when I set it up for reverb, there it is. So that's how I'm controlling the reverb. There are some other faders over here for effects that actually will control vocal pitch, but those will be for another stream some other time. But this one's over here for the reverb. So I thought I'd just show you a little something just in case any of you guys were just kind of curious. All right, so let's get back to the story here. Here we go. All right, I'm going to repeat this last one.
いようにも小鳥ちゃん、めったに部屋から出てこないんだもん。新しい寮母って男の子じゃない。
Oh boy. Hey, look. Hey, look. It's what it felt like she was saying as she relentlessly pointed at me.
そのやりとりはうちらはるか昔に通過したから。
You know, I guess this serves as a lesson. Try not to be so much of an introvert that you lose track of what's going on in the outside world. That's a note to myself, too. The girl known as Kotori, let me see. The girl known as Kotori glared at Kanako like she was interfering. I'm the new dorm mother, Aoi Minase.
ハバネ小鳥です。
Kotori seemed to meet my introduction with reluctance.
この子はハト。ってもう知ってるわよね。
That I do. Hat turned to face me and flapped his wings. He's a clever duck.
本当にあなたが新しい寮母さんなの？
I wish it was someone else, but unfortunately it's me. Yes, that's right. So you are against it? If she says she doesn't like the fact the dorm mother of a girl's dormitory is a guy, or the fact that we're the same age, there's nothing I can do about it. Kotori closes her eyes and quietly takes a deep breath as if trying to focus her mind. Kotori?
昼間のことは忘れて。
Whoa. During the day? Which part?
なるべく全部だけど。そうね。強いて言うなら。
She stopped talking and stared at Kanako, who was standing behind listening. Kanako looked as if she was saying okay. Okay. Oh, I see. Saying okay, as she disappeared down the hallway.
この私がついうっかりポロッと泣いちゃったりしたことよ。
Oh. That incident was quite startling, and I remember it well. To To see a girl's tears from so close like that is something I don't experience very often. I don't know what she thinks about it, but those tears were very beautiful.
忘れた？
Huh? No, not yet.
忘れろ、今すぐ。
Don't be so silly. When you say like that, it just makes it even more strongly engraved in my memory.
あのね、新入りのあなたは知らないだろうけど、私これでも。
Kotori straightened her back, composed her expression and smiled. And swish! With a natural gesture, she lifted her hair up.
クールビューティーで通ってるの。
What's Salul?
ビューティーよ。ちょっと言い間違えただけ。
Oh, I've heard that word before.
もう一回言うから、もう一回やらせて。
She said that and then straightened her back and made a composed smile again. Okay, that's enough. I get it, all right. I gotta admit, that expression right there is actually kind of adorable. I gotta admit, that actually is kind of adorable. Okay, let's continue.
もう意地悪、揚げ足取り、人でなし。
I got a sneaky suspicion that this is gonna be our tsundere. I got a sneaky suspicion she's gonna be our tsundere. Kotori used just about every insult there is, then turned her wheelchair around. Then she hurriedly raced back down the hallway and back into her room. Along the way, Hat, who'd been thrown off, chased after her and entered the room through a small door, maybe a special door for ducks, built into the bottom of the main door. I looked on in disbelief. I don't need to say this, but the dainty and delicate image that she had in the daytime had completely crumbled away. A delicate bud was beginning to sprout, and we shared a fleeting love. But Kulalul, right. When I remember lifting her hair and being so full of confidence, I feel like I could burst out laughing. She's so funny. From the beginning, everything's been so messed up. From tomorrow, it looks like things will start getting interesting. I really feel that prediction would come true. My first job as dorm mother. That is to make breakfast for the boarders. Sure, a big bowl, right?
わかってるね。
I'm pretty confident in my cooking. Until recently, I was living with my father, who was ordered to transfer to the country, and every day I helped with the housework. I was in charge of preparing the meals, and it's not like I hated cooking or anything. That's one of the reasons why I accepted the job as dorm mother. So the others don't need breakfast, huh? Since just now, no one has come into the dining hall. Sometimes there would be someone walking through the hallway in front, but they seemed to be sneaking around. Kanako looked towards the hallway just as the oldest boarder Yuka was peeking in before swiftly dashing off.
もうみんなオフだからね。男の子に免疫がないのよ。
But Keifu is a co-ed school, right?
いくら学校で同じでも寝起きの緩み切ったすっぴんが見られちゃうわけじゃないからね。
I see. It seems that a guy being the dorm mother of a girl's dormitory will have its problems after all. You think? There's a reason why I accepted the job as dorm mother at Flying Fish Manor. Not long ago, the owner janitor collapsed. It sounds like she's pretty old, and as well as straining her back, she caught a summer cold, which became aggravated. The owner soon began looking for a replacement, but it was hard to find one. Then she sought help from the real estate company where my mother works. This is one of the properties that my mom manages, and is an old acquaintance of the owner from decades ago. She nominated me for this job just as I was planning to come back here. On the documents, my mom is the one responsible for this place, but she got me to carry out the practical duties. In other words, the work of the dorm mother. Then that became the condition for me coming back to this town. As always, she's very crafty, but I wasn't really against the idea, so I accepted. If I'd known it was a girls' dormitory, of course I would have refused. This place is old, a little far from the school, but the rent is cheap. Apart from the food and admin expenses, it costs next to nothing. That's why it would be a big problem for me if I couldn't stay here. And if in the worst case scenario, the boarders won't be able to go to school. So for now, it seems that everyone has accepted a guy as the dorm mother.
ごちそうさー。美味しかった。
Kanako stacked up the dishes on the counter and licked her lips in satisfaction.
ま、みんなそのうち慣れるって。じゃ、行ってきます。
She had eaten it all. Not even a single grain of rice was left. To have people enjoy my cooking feels pretty good. I feel deeply relieved. I'm happy that things are going well. Ah, jeez. I better get ready for school. In the entrance of the dormitory, there was Kotori. She was dressed in her uniform and looked like she was about to go to school. Morning, Kotori.
おはよう。
Are you going to school? Shall we go together?
なんでそうなるの？
Why? Well...
私の足のことを心配してるなら余計なお世話よ。ふんと。
She put it bluntly as she quickly went out the front door. I don't have any friends at school, so I was just asking. It looked like we'd had a strange misunderstanding. Wearing my uniform, I make my way to school. I'm a dorm mother, but also a student of Keifu Academy. I mean, this is my real occupation. Today is the first day at my new school. I'm not really the shy type, but I guess I am kind of nervous. I would say that the school I was going to before was a sports-focused all-boys school. Keifu Academy, the school I'll be going to now, is an engineering school and a co-ed. And the school traditions are quite different too. As I walk the streets that lead to school, there are more and more groups of people wearing the same uniform. This is the same area in which I lived 5 years ago. There should be a few people that I know, but most of the people who I recognize went on to the regular schools. I wonder if the ones who chose to go to Keifu Academy remember me. Even if I only know one person, it would make a big difference. There will be more weird misunderstandings with Miss Alul too. Oh yeah, which school do Ageha and the others go to? They're my childhood friends, who I always played with when I was a kid. There's Ageha, Mabo, Otaru, and Anchan. Out of that group, Ageha and Mabo are the same age as me, but we haven't met in 5 years and haven't really stayed in touch. We just about managed to exchange New Year cards, but that reminds me, in the corner of last year's New Year card, I think there was a small message about which school we were planning to go to. What did it say? A lot of things happened, or maybe I'm just lazy, but I haven't told anyone apart from Anchan that I'm coming back. To be honest, I'm not even sure how I should be if I met them. With the ones like Ageha, she'd probably smash my face in. She'd say, "Why didn't you contact me?" or something. She looked and acted like a real tomboy. When I remember the past, it makes me smile, but...
Oh.
At the point where Tow Street leading to the meet. Oh gosh. I'm sorry guys. I really gotta get this act together. Alright, let's do this. At the point where Tow Street leading to the school meet, there was a girl wearing a Keifu uniform standing there looking towards me. The other girls that she was walking to school with asked, "What's up?" and seemed puzzled as they spoke to her. However, it seems that the girl can't hear them, and she's staring over here at me. Just faintly, her eyes seem full of surprise. She's pretty cute. Without realizing, I'd stopped walking and was staring at the girl. Until a few days ago, I was going to an all-boys school. The sight of a girl on the way to school in her uniform, she was pretty cute too, causing me to get palpitations, is perfectly reasonable.
もしかして、葵?
Is this who I think it is? I'm digging this music though. I really do like this music score. Yes, it is. Suddenly, having someone call my name in such a carefree manner made me feel a bit nervous. Who is it?
やっぱり葵だ! 嘘、本当に?
There she said my name again, and she has such a happy expression on her face. Do I know any girls this cute? No, wait. I've seen this face before. When she smiles like this and her eyes sparkle like a little kid's. Is that you, Ageha?
もしかしなくてもアゲハよ。忘れちゃったの？私の顔。
She asked as she briskly moves closer, bringing her face right up to mine. It's definitely Ageha. She's changed a lot, but if I just took her at her face, there's no doubt it's her. Is it really that Ageha?
しつこいな。他にどのアゲハがいるってのよ。
Not many.
正真正銘、本物の姫木アゲハです。
What is it? What is it? Said the other girls as they gathered around in a circle. Ageha turned to face them and introduced me.
この子、水瀬葵くん。転校生よ。サッチンは覚えてるよね。
Sachin replied, "No way, Aoi," as she warmly raised her voice in surprise. When we were in the 4th grade of elementary school, we were in the same class once.
私と葵は幼馴染なの。昔ここに住んでたんだけど、転校してっちゃったのよね。
The girls seemed impressed by Ageha's explanation, and they looked at me with eyes of full expectation. Nice to meet you. I'm Aoi Minase. In front of all these girls in their uniforms, I greeted them with a stern look on my face as I tried to hide my embarrassment. Ageha laughed as she looked on with relish. I never thought I would find myself doing introductions in the street on the way to school like this, so I was totally unprepared. I'll say it again. Let me do it again. I could hear Miss Alu's words in the back of my mind.
背伸びたわね。最初誰かわかんなかったわ。
As she spoke, Ageha was moving her hands around my head to show the difference in height between myself and her. Our bodies were making contact, but she either didn't notice or didn't really mind. I flinched slightly, but the fact that she was so unreserved actually made me feel more comfortable.
昔は私といい勝負だったのに、男の子はずるいな。
Speaking of which, you've changed too.
そう？
As she said, "You think so," she looked at herself. Yeah, you always look like a boy, so I was surprised to see that you become a girl. Those were my honest thoughts, but I said them in a way that sounded weird. I thought she might find it slightly charming, but...
どうだ、いい女になっただろ。
I think you just dug yourself a hole, kid. Ageha laughed happily and did a little turn on the spot. The force of her spin made her skirt float around gently. Yeah, it's like you're not really Ageha. While dazed and not really thinking, those thoughts just kind of slipped out.
イエーイ、やったね。
Ageha was pleased and did high fives with her friends. Seeing her in high spirits like that was just like old times. Ageha, my best friend during my childhood, hadn't changed in the 5 years that had passed. Her appearance was surprising, though. The lessons on my first day at my new school flew by in the blink of an eye. Between the language and social studies lessons taught in regular schools were those from specialist curriculum. I was still in the 2nd grade, so there aren't that many, but it looks like when you go into the 3rd and 4th grades, the number of these specialist lessons increases. By the way, this is a 5-year school. That's why when walking the hallways, this kind of thing happens. Hey, she's pretty. Coming from an all-boys school with its sad customs, I couldn't help my eyes from following the girls as I walked past them.
ほほん、早速女子のチェックですか?
No, that's not it. I just thought they looked really grown up, that's all.
4年か5年の先輩じゃないかな?
At our age, a gap of 3 or 4 years is pretty big. The students in the upper grades look very mature.
それにね、うちってこの手の専門学校にしては女子の比率が多いんだよ。
Huh? Why's that? Without thinking, I really took an interest in that, and Agaha looked at me as if she wanted to call me a pervert.
校舎の建て替えと同時期に女子生徒の受け入れを強化したんだって。
I'd heard about that before I transferred. They increased the number of courses for girls and asked famous designers to make the designs for the new building. It has been said, thanks to that, the ratio of boys and girls is about 50-50, which is one of the selling points of the school. Bearing this in mind, I felt uneasy about choosing this school as the one I would transfer to. But I'd like people to think that it can't be helped because I'm from an all-boys school. By the way, it's now lunchtime. Agaha is in the middle of giving me a guided tour of the school building. But this really is an amazing school. The school itself is pretty old. Due to it being a special kind of school, of course, it's famous in the local area. I've known about it too, since I was a little kid. The school building has been rebuilt over the last few years, with the renovations divided into several stages, the last of which was completed just 1 year ago. Let me see if I can get this text to just spill out faster. I think that's as fast as it can go. And also, let me do a little save right here. Because with that, I need to get a little break in because I am just told my throat's getting a little bit screwed up. So I'm going to take a little break here, and let's see, I'm going to probably do just 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to get back into it. Let me get the timer out. Alright, so let me start that over because I was doing some adjustments. So I'm going to start, it's continuing now. Okay, so I'm gonna just be back in about 4.5 minutes just to rest my throat a little bit. Alright, folks. And this is actually in the wrong window. I'm actually supposed to have it in this one. So I'm gonna redo this. Okay, folks, welcome back. Sorry I was a bit late. Some of the programming that I did in OBS was actually in the wrong scene. Yep, new program and getting all the bugs worked out. So, apologies for that. But my throat feels a lot better. Had something stuck in my tongue there. That happens. All right. Let's get the ball rolling and continue on our story here. Alrighty, here we go. It's said that it is because of the famous designers. The design uses many curved lines, so the appearance is far removed from what that generally associated with the word school. It felt like I had entered some kind of sci-fi setting.
設備も最高だよ。冷暖房完備、完全バリアフリーで、どんな人も安心して学校生活が送れます。
Disabled access? That's right, Miss Alul. I mean, Kotori should be somewhere in this school.
でもさ、葵、ほんと変わったよね。
How so? Ageha, as she walked by my side, was happily murmuring as she looked at my face.
顔とか、昔はもっと可愛らしかったのに、なんかゴツゴツしちゃってさ。
Yeah, same to you.
ひどっ！私、ゴツゴツなんてしてないもん。
Oops. If she knew that when we met on the way to school earlier, I thought she's pretty cute, she'd never let it go. So I'd better keep quiet.
あんちゃんから聞いてなかったら気づかなかったわよ。
You heard it from An-chan?
そう、葵が帰ってくるってね。
By the way, I'm in the same class as Ageha. She knew that I might be coming as a transfer student, which is why she wasn't that surprised by our chance meeting this morning.
あんたね、帰ってくるなら連絡くらいよこしなさいよね。
Typo. Contracted. Instead of contacted is contracted. But you know, it's okay to let that little grammar slide because I really sometimes butcher the reading on this. Thank you all for your forgiveness. Sorry. The reason why we call him An-chan isn't because he's like an older brother type guy. Aniki, an older guy like a big brother. He was our childhood friend, but he was much older than us, so we nicknamed him An-chan. He's not related by blood, but he's just like a real big brother. Ageha glared at me and said, "Cheese," as I tried to laugh it off.
昔の私ならアックスボンバーかましてるところよ。
Whatever that is. She wouldn't really have hit me. As we talked, we went back to the classroom. The classrooms weren't exactly normal either. I feel a little uneasy taking lessons here, but maybe I'll get used to it over time. By the way, there's a girl in the wheelchair in this school, right? Miss Alul. No, I mean, she's called Kotori Habane. I asked Ageha as we returned to our seats. I didn't ask what grade she was in, but even if it's not the same, I thought Ageha would at least be aware of her. Ageha reacted like she was being evasive. It wasn't just Ageha, but the other people sitting nearby who heard our conversation also seemed kind of awkward. Huh?
ハバネさんならうちのクラスだよ。今日は来てないみたいだけど。
After Ageha said that, someone added, "You mean today either, don't you?" Oh, you mean today either, don't you? The way she said that seemed quite harsh. That can't be. I mean, I thought about explaining that she had left the dormitory this morning in her uniform, but I held my tongue. The atmosphere was kind of strange.
ここんとこずっと休んでるんだ。体調が良くないみたいでさ。
Not feeling well. Yesterday, she had went out to the windmill hill, and then later she was chasing the duck around the halls of the dormitory. And this morning, she left wearing her uniform. Is she skipping school? However, more worrying than what Kotori is up to is the reaction of the others in the class when they heard us talking about her. Even Ageha looked like she had something she wanted to say but couldn't. But I don't really know what the situation is, so I can't really say anything.
Oi, Yamamoto! 英語の辞書を貸してくんね。
As the awkwardness started to fade, an optimistic voice called out. From the entrance of the classroom, a carefree-looking guy poked his head and started speaking to a boy in our class.
お、ちょうどいいところに。おーい、マーボー。
Oh, so I was right about that pronunciation.
だよ、アゲハ。なんか用か？
The guy known as Mabo came into the classroom.
お前と仲良くしてっとエリちゃんのご機嫌が悪くなんだよ。あれってやっぱジェラシーってやつだよな。
いいからこっち来い。
お、誰これ？転校生？アゲハは見た目結構可愛いけど中身男だから気をつけろ。
Ageha and I both looked blankly at him for a moment.
なんだよ。
Long time no see, Mabo.
は？
Why is it this transfer student being so buddy-buddy with me? His face seemed to say. It's me. Have you forgotten me?
俺だよって。え？お前、青い
I looked at Ageha and she
にや。
She wanted to surprise him, so it seems like she intentionally did not tell him. This slightly superficial guy is Masatsugu Tasaki, or Mabo, as we like to call him. He's our childhood friend.
なんで葵がここにいるんだよ。てか転校生って？え？
あんた驚きすぎ。
そりゃ驚くって。
You seem well, Mabo. You've grown pretty big. Masatsugu used to be really small, but now he was about the same size as me. It's not quite like the change in Ageha, but in the 5 years that have passed, we were kids. Since we were kids, it looks like he's grown to about twice the size.
お前こそ。
We grabbed each other by the right hand. This was instead of a small, quiet greeting.
本当に葵なのかよ。
Yeah, I'm back, Mabo.
おかえり。葵。
This time, bam! He gave me a full-on hug. Hey, hey!
うんうん。熱い友情ってやつだね。
We were the only ones who thought so, whereas all the girls around us totally freaked out.
会いたかったよ。じゃねえよこの裏切り者。
Mabo suddenly backed off and thrust his finger at the end of my nose. What is all this all of a sudden?
いきなり出て行ったと思ったらろくに連絡もよこさねえで。 俺やアゲハがどんな思いでいたかてめえ知ってるのか。
いやいや、勝手に私を巻き添えにするな。
So you better leave me out of this one, buddy.
そのくせよくものこのこと。
I'm sorry, but it's not my fault that I had to move away. If you want to complain, say it to my dad. I thought about writing a letter, but I felt kind of embarrassed. For the most part, the fact that there was no contact was both our faults.
この裏切り者め、俺は絶対許さないかんな。
That was cool how the music stopped and right after that statement it started up again.
お前なんか嫌いだ、バカバカ。
I got a sneaky suspicion he's kidding. With saliva flying out of his mouth as he emphasized his words, Mabo forgot all about borrowing the English dictionary and he stormed out of the classroom.
子供かい。
It wasn't just us, but everyone in the classroom was shocked.
こうなると思って教えてなかったんだけどね。知ってたらあいつ最初から全開であんな感じだっただろうから。
I think that was the correct decision. I want to say thank you. Even so, he did seem really upset about it.
あいつ最近彼女ができて調子ついてんのよ。小さい頃は「青いアゲハ待ってよ」とか言って私らの後にくっついてきてたのにね。大丈夫、すぐ元通りになるって。だってあいつ葵大好きっ子だもん。
Don't say it like that. It sounds weird.
そう、可愛いじゃない。
While we carried on talking, the bell to mark the end of lunchtime sounded. Everyone put away their lunchboxes and got ready for the next lesson. Ageha went back to her seat. She stopped halfway, then walked back. What's up? Ageha seemed concerned about those around us and lowered her voice.
なんでハバネさんのこと知ってるのかなって。
Well, the truth is, my mom asked me to be the dorm mother of a student dormitory. I lowered my voice so that those around us couldn't hear.
寮の管理人？
Kotori is boarding there.
そうなんだ。
My mom asked me to take good care of Kotori. Even if she hadn't, I'd be worried about her anyway. As she listened to my explanation, Ageha thought it over. Her expression darkened somehow.
このまま来なくなるんじゃないかってみんな心配してる。あんまり学校が楽しくないみたいなんだ。
It looked as if she was saying, I can't believe she doesn't enjoy school. You seem to enjoy it.
私？もちろんだよ。だって楽しいじゃない、学校。
Sorry, had to move some stuff out of the way. There we go. I had to get a little bit comfy over here. So there we go. You know, having this thing on a boom arm really does help, so you can move it around as you need. But my whole setup on the gear that I got is available in a description below in one of the panels there. It was still my first day at the new school, but I was enjoying it quite a lot too.
そっか。そうなんだ。
Whether or not she was convinced by my story, Ageha mumbled something or other as she returned it to her seat. After school, I was alone and was wandering around the school building. This was so that I could take a look at some of the club activities. Film studies, theater club, there's even an RC club. I would definitely go for the theater club just to run the AV. This is, after all, a specialist school. Looking at the playing field from the window in the heat outside, I saw the sports club practicing. Compared to my school, it's pretty calm. The sports clubs at the school I used to go to were taken so seriously. The sight of training before a match was one of grueling harshness. Wait, what do I mean, my school? I'm a student of this school now. I'll go take a look. I went down next to the playing field to watch the sports clubs practicing. Before long, I started to feel a little down, so I left. The doctor said that if it's a light exercise, it shouldn't be a problem. I try stamping down strongly with my right foot, and there isn't really any discomfort. There, the baseball club, which was returning through from the off-campus running course, entered through the school gates.
あ、水瀬。お前、水瀬だろ?
The one calling me was an old acquaintance. It's you, Taguchi? It's been a long time.
お前、帰ってきたんだってな。もう部活は決めたのか?
No, not yet. I'm going around taking a look now.
野球部入れよ。お前ならすぐレギュラーなれるぞ。
When I was a kid, I often played baseball in the park. Some of the guys in the group that were my teammates or on the other team were in the baseball team. I'll think about it. I casually responded, and the baseball team members replied, "Come on, join us, seriously," as they returned to the playing field. If I could do physical activities, baseball, in fact anything, would be okay. As I grumbled to myself, I felt that I didn't want to go back to the playing field, so I entered the path leading to the back of the school. I spent a while walking around the back of the school. It was called the rear garden, but it looked like it hadn't been taken care of at all, and was just an empty space with weeds growing everywhere. In that empty space, there was a garage. Hello? I'm coming in. It looks like no one's here, but I thought I should say something to let them know, just in case. Is this place used for club activities too? Or is it used for lessons? I don't know what they're used for, but there are many tools and parts crammed into the shelves and cover the walls. Then in the center is a huge object covered with a sheet. The feelings that had washed over me like a wave when I watched the sports club strangely subside from being here. The tools in the dimly lit garage must have reminded me of the times when I would tinker with my bicycle. What is this used for? I conceal the sound of my footsteps as I sneak inside the garage. It's pretty spacious. There's a tea set here too. There was no doubt about it. Someone was using this space. I get a strange sense of activity. I guess it must be one of the clubs. Whoa! There's someone here? I was so surprised it felt like my heart was going to jump out. The person over there seemed not to have noticed me at all. I'm not sure if you could call it a drawing board, but as she stared at the plans that were placed there, she was kind of groaning. I'm sorry for letting myself in here. I'll be going now. It's no good. She didn't hear me. Her eyes were so serious as she stared at the plans, and she looked like she was really concentrating. I didn't know what to do, so I just looked at her from the side. Now that I look closely, she's really beautiful. Hey, why am I staring at her? I hurriedly look away. However, it looks as if she still hasn't noticed me, so I take another glimpse. She looks quite mature. Is she in the 5th grade? She's so pretty. Kotori is pretty, but this person is different and has a mysterious charm. She suddenly stood up. I'm sorry. Without thinking, I avert my eyes and apologize, but she's looking straight past me and grabs a big, thick book from the shelf.
やっぱりそうか。
She flicked through the pages and looked like she had found something before going straight back to her seat. In good spirits, she began swiftly drawing the plans. The pen made a nice swoosh, swoosh sound as it ran across the page. The feeling of maturity that had, until just now, suddenly changed. She smiles all of a sudden. She looks more like a kid. As her eyes looked straight at the plans, it looked as though they had a crystal clear purity to them. Just like an innocent child, her eyes looked as though she believed that the world is full of wonderful, sparkling things.
これでよしっと。
Her hand stopped moving. I got the timing right. Excuse me. She finally noticed me.
いや、こんにちは。
Even though I had unexpectedly appeared like that, she didn't show any signs of caution, and still in good spirits smiled as she greeted me. Hi. I thought that I should say something to her, but I didn't think of what to say after that.
どうかしたのかい？
I'm sorry that I just let myself in here. I just transferred here today, but I was taking a look at the club activities and I got lost and came in here. I got a little carried away and said more than I needed, but she didn't seem interested at all. She looked at me as if to say, yeah, and?
勝手に入ってくれて構わないぞ。
Well, it's nice that she's cool about it. It seemed like a kind of blunt way to say it, but she wasn't angry or anything. She has a strange way of speaking. Well, I'm sorry. I'd better go. As I said that like a total loser, a huge sound echoed out around the garage. What's that noise?
お腹すいた。
With a lack of energy in her voice, the beautiful girl before me held her stomach and fell onto the drawing board. Was that the sound of your stomach just now? We're inside the garage, so the sound echoed like crazy and sounded like the growl of a monster.
空腹だったことを体が思い出してしまったらしいぞ。
She seemed to sway as she tried to get up, but she didn't have enough energy, so she slumped back down with her cheek on the drawing board. Would you like to eat this? I took some bread out of my bag. I thought I'd get hungry with just a lunchbox, so at lunchtime I bought some melon bread. Her eyes shone as if she were an explorer who had discovered treasure in a cave in some unexplored place.
いいのか？
Go ahead.
ありがとう。
She took the melon bread, opened the wrapper, and immediately bit into the contents. She was getting crumbs everywhere, but really looked like she was enjoying it as she devoured it greedily.
おいしい。おいしい。久しぶりのカロリー摂取だ。
Could that be because she's poor? The fact that she was so ecstatic over something like melon bread actually made me quite worried. She didn't show any signs that she was thinking of my generosity and just ate up in the high-calorie melon bread.
おいしかった。
She murmured happily, looking happy as can be. She looked like she was mulling over the taste of the melon bread in her brain.
脳に糖分が染み渡る。
She said as she turned back to the drawing board. Then she started drawing the plans again with incredible energy. From the serious look on her face, it seemed that she had already forgotten about me. She's strange. Not just a little, but very strange. Okay, well, I'll be off now. Perhaps she didn't hear me. I put the melon bread wrapper that she had left behind in my pocket and turned to leave. I reluctantly left the special atmosphere of the garage behind me. Well then, maybe I should head back. By the time I had finished watching the various clubs, the sky was orange and the sun was setting.
あ、いた。
Agahai was at the school gates. Agahai looks towards me and points the cell phone she is holding at me.
まだ残ってたら一緒に帰ろうと思って何回もかけたのにちっとも出ないんだもん。
I told Agahai that I would take a look at the club activities before leaving.
着信履歴見てみ。
I left it at the dormitory.
はあ？なんで？それじゃ携帯の意味ないじゃん。
Doesn't it say in the school rules that you can't bring cell phones to school?
そうだけど、そんなの守ってる子いないよ。
It's alright if you don't get caught, it seems. In my case, I'm not so worried about the school rules. It's just too bothersome to carry a cell phone around with me.
せっかく番号教えてもらったのに、これじゃ意味なしだよ。
How do you know my number? 5 years ago, when I left Kazegara, I was still just a kid, so I didn't have a cell phone.
さっきあんちゃんから聞いた。メアドも送ってもらったから、これからバンバンメールするね。
What? Don't bother. It's too much of a hassle. Writing text on a cell phone is too fiddly, which is a real pain, so I don't really like it. But it looks like Agahai isn't listening to me and has started walking on ahead.
じゃあ帰ろっか。
Let me look at the config. Is there a keyboard? Is there a keyboard hotkey? Retrospective mode, advances and rewinds, auto mode. Okay, shall we head back? Ah.
どうだった転校初日は。
So much for those hotkeys. Not working. I'll deal with it. Seems like an interesting school. It was different to the sports schools or regular schools, and it had a special kind of atmosphere. Everyone looks like they enjoy it, and it's, how should I say, like they come here to hang out.
それは言えてるかも。みんなやりたいことがあって来てるからね。
Things they want to do?
入りたい部活は見つかった？
I don't know. There were a few that seemed interesting, though.
うち運動部はあんまり盛んじゃないから、葵には物足りないかもね。
What do you do, Ageha?
私はロボット部。ロボット作ってコンクールに出るの。
Insert robot rock theme here. Robots? That sounds interesting too.
葵だったらいつでも大歓迎だよ。
Yeah, I'll think about it.
それじゃあ、私こっちだから。
Huh? Isn't your place around here?
ああ、引っ越したんだ。風見商店街が再開発でなくなったのを知らないの？
No way. Seriously?
でっかいショッピングモールができたの。うちの店もそこに入ってるんだよ。また休みの日にでも案内してあげるよ。じゃ、また明日ね。
Hey.
何？
Thanks for everything today.
いいっていいって。今度パフェでもおごってくれたらそれで十分。
No, I mean that you're the same way towards me as in the past.
ああ、うん。
That was a big help.
私も葵が見た目以外変わってなくてよかった。あ、見た目もそんなに悪くないよ。極秘情報をリークするとね、今日だけでいろんな子から葵の携帯番号を聞かれたし。
Seriously?
訂正。スケベになったね、葵。
So what? I didn't have that in mind. I didn't have that kind of thing at an all-boys school.
まあ健全な男子である証拠か。しばらく会わないうちに大人になっちゃったんだね。
Ageha looked happy as she said that. So have you. To be honest, I thought she would have grown up to be more rough and tomboyish.
だね。
Ageha started smiling quietly. Looking at that innocent smile reminded me of how Ageha was when she was still just a kid.
おかえりなさい、葵。
Yeah.
また明日からよろしくな、相棒。
Bam! Ouch! She gave me a great big slap on the back.
じゃあね。
Ageha gave me a big wave and turned the corner. Ouch, you doofus. She might have gotten a little cuter, but she hadn't really changed on the inside. Welcome back, huh? Her attitude hasn't really changed since before, and somehow I felt that it had saved me. After Ageha and I went our separate ways, I did the shopping for dinner on the way back. It's gonna be hot again tomorrow, so I have to give them some food that will give them stamina. Enthusiastically, I put the menu together in my head. Oh no, I forgot to buy milk. There was a convenience store right in front of me. 5 years ago, there was a tobacconist here. It's a little expensive, but I don't have time to go back to the supermarket. I thought to myself. The automatic doors opened, and the one with the self-proclaimed cool allure left the shop. She had a bag on her lap and had a smile on her face, which was the exact opposite of cool. She didn't notice me and went back in the direction of the dormitory. It's her. She didn't go to school, so what is she doing? I gave up on buying the milk and followed Kotori. When she got back to the dormitory, Kotori opened the front door just slightly.
Hato!
She called Hat from the other side of the door and spoke to him about something. She was sneaking around and seemed really suspicious.
あいつがいないか見てきて。ほら、あいつよ。あの意地悪な男子。
Wow, the mean boy. Wow. After fixing your tire, but he's the mean guy? Jeez. Is she talking about me? This is a girls' dormitory, so I'm the only boy here. I don't remember being mean to her. I don't know why, but it would appear that she is sneaking around to avoid being found by me. If that's how you feel. I headed for the back door to the dormitory. I'll hide in the kitchen for now.
わわ。
Shh! This is about me. Tell her I'm not here.
わ。
I doubt that he got the message, but wiggled his butt as he left the dining hall and headed for the entrance. While I'm waiting in ambush, I'll put the food I bought in the fridge. After a little while,
いないみたいね。よしよし。
when Kotori came into the dining hall, she went straight for the cupboard and took out a spoon. Without taking out a dish, she stayed seated in her wheelchair. She put the shopping bag from the convenience store on the table. Inside was Arkin Darch? Needless to say, it was top quality ice cream. Not only that, but it was a family size. It's the big pot that cost 2,500 yen. She opened the lid, and in her right hand, she had the type of spoon that you would eat things like curry with.
やるわよ。ついに。わかん。
Kotori's spoon was still above the smooth surface of the Arkin Darch. Then she dug a big hole in it. One scoop like that would be about 100 yen. She stuffed the whole thing down in one mouthful.
幸せ。
She brought her hand to her cheek as though she was flooded in happiness from the bottom of her heart. What is she doing? Seeing what she was doing made hiding and watching her seem pretty ridiculous. Without knowing I was watching, Kotori began to shovel in more ice cream like a construction machine. Even if it was only 105 yen ice cream, you'd sever the flavor for more than that. With the next mouthful of ice cream, Kotori suddenly lowered her head, holding her temples. Brain freeze.
大丈夫。ちょっとキーンときただけ。
To be able to get a brain freeze from eating too much Haagen-Dazs is the very height of luxury. During this little pause, Kotori opened up her notebook. There's something written in there. I sneak up a little closer behind her. Shh. Next to the words, eat as much Haagen-Dazs as I want, Kotori happily wrote the word done.
Mission complete.
It seemed to be some sort of list. Things I want to do. That was the title, and there were bullet points below. Stroke the head of the big dog in the neighborhood. It's really scary, but it might be unexpectedly friendly. If possible, I'd like to ride around on its back. Fill the bath with water and swim in it like a pool. Pie throwing, and so on. Among those was, go and see Windmill Hill, with done written next to it. What is this? Whoa, 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 whoa! Kotori's scream pierced from my right ear and out of my left. I was here before you were. Her mouth was open in shock as she looked at Hat. Well, I guess it's no good sending a duck to scout the place out. Even if he was able to completely grasp what his responsibility was, there's no way he could convey the message. Kotori seemed ashamed and looked away. I'm sorry I surprised you. You were sneaking around, so I wondered what you were doing. Didn't mean to spoil your personal enjoyment. I went back to the kitchen to get things ready for dinner. Kotori's face seemed to say, now it only tastes half as good, as she sulkily ate the ice cream. Why are you taking time off from school? And you're eating ice cream while you caught a cold. Right. She's blatantly lying. Would someone who has caught a cold be eating ice cream? I'm the dorm mother, you know. I have to make sure the boarding students have the right kind of lifestyle. She went to the trouble of turning round so that she could point at me. If you want to call me dorm father, then that's fine by me. Kotori turned back around and went back to enjoying her ice cream. If you weren't at school, then where were you? I softened my tone a little as I asked her. Did you go back to the Windmill Hill? She's ignoring me and eating her ice cream. It has got nothing to do with me. I don't mean that. Yesterday, if I hadn't been passing by, where would you be right now? If you're not careful in a place like that, then maybe nobody would have come. If you can't move your wheelchair, what would you have done by yourself? You still think it's got nothing to do with me? I'm not accusing her of anything. That's why I tried to speak as gently as possible, so as not to sound too harsh. However, I showed her how serious I was.
だからお礼言ったでしょ。この私がお礼言うなんてすごく珍しいことなんだから。本当よ、オオサンショウウオくらい希少なのよ。逆に感謝してほしいくらいだわ。
Are you proud of that? If you think that people would be happy because it's so rare, you're severely mistaken. Kotori seemed daunted by this sound argument, put down the spoon and started thinking seriously.
でも私こんなだから何もできない。アイス食べる？高いやつよ。
No, I don't. I sounded a little mean, so Kotori became tearful all of a sudden. Her cheeks were quivering as she desperately tried to hold back the tears. Hey, I'm sorry. I was joking. Don't make that face.
別に普通だもん。
That's right. See, you're fine.
ガーガー。
Hat quacked as though he was trying to cheer Kotori up. I wouldn't tell you to say thank you, would I? It's just that if you go out without telling anyone where you're going, it's kind of dangerous, you know? She wiped the corner of her eye a little with the finger.
わかるけど、わかりたくない。わかるわけにはいかないの。
Somehow that's what the look on her face said. She put the spoon down and went to leave the dining hall. Where are you going?
顔洗ってくるの。アイスで口の周りがベタベタするから。
She closed the notebook and put it on her lap. Then a piece of paper fell from the notebook. You dropped something. Kotori looked as though she hadn't heard and left the dining hall. Hat went after her. As the sound of the wheelchair grew further away, I let out a big sigh. Maybe I said too much. It's just that I really was worried about her. I don't know anything about what's going on with Kotori, so perhaps I was unnecessarily interfering. Wait. Speaking of which, she was wearing her uniform. However, she was wearing her own clothes yesterday when she went to the Windmill Hill. Could it be that she was actually planning on going to school? That's possible, isn't it? As I thought of that, I felt my mood lighten a little, and I picked up the piece of paper that she had dropped. Huh? For a moment, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was a notice for withdrawal from school.
Genki dashi natte, Aoi-kun.
I was depressed while I was cleaning up after dinner, and Kanako came to comfort me. Why did everyone leave so much uneaten?
ちゃんと美味しかったよ。
For tonight's dinner, Kanako was the only one who ate all of her food. Without exception, everyone else left some uneaten. Tomorrow I'll make even more tasty food. So tasty that no one will leave anything uneaten. I felt renewed determination, and then the duck came waddling into the dining hall.
ハト先輩、ガンチャース。わわ。そっか、お腹空いてんだね。葵くん、なんか食べるものある？
There's some vegetables left over.
それでいいよ。
Kanako took the leftover vegetables and fed them to Hat. Is this duck her pet? Are you allowed to have pets here?
よ、誰のペットでもないよ。私がここに来る前から住み着いてたの。誰がいつどうして持ち込んだのかは不明。だからハット先輩。
So the owner must have been keeping him.
それが違うんだって。いつの間にかいたって言ってたよ。だからペットっていうより同居してる感じかな。
Kotori also called him a housemate. It's a mystery. Once she had finished feeding Hat, Kanako got out of her seat.
さてと、ひとっ風呂浴びるかな。
Don't go walking around in your underwear again, okay?
なんでよ。いいじゃん、夏なんだし。
No.
ケチ。
Kanako gave me a quick insult as she left the dining hall. Why does everyone have to insult me just before they leave? I felt a little hurt as I cleaned the dishes. Gee. This time it was Kotori poking her head into the dining hall. It was almost as if she was waiting for Kanako to leave before she came in. She doesn't seem to get along well with her, so maybe she really was waiting for her to leave. I thought she might have come to have some dinner, but she appeared to be looking for something. She's looking under the table.
ハト、邪魔よ。
She went round the table once and then came past the counter in front of me.
ね、紙見なかった？
No, I haven't. What kind of paper?
紙は紙よ。本当に見てない？
Positive. Kotori groaned while staring at my face as if she were trying to see if I was telling the truth. With a straight face, I wiped the dishes with a towel. With no way to check, she went to look elsewhere. I'll put your dinner in the fridge. Heat it up in the microwave and eat it, okay? I couldn't help lying to her. The thing she was looking for was the withdrawal notice that I had picked up. People were worried that if it carries on like this, she'll stop coming altogether. Looks like she's not really enjoying school. Ageha's words crossed my mind. It looks like Kotori really is planning to drop out of school. What am I doing? Why didn't I give the withdrawal notice back to her? There I stood, not even really understanding those feelings myself. Early in the morning, the doorbell chimed, so I went to open it, and there I saw Ageha. What are you doing here?
本当に寮母さんやってるんだ。
She remarked as she saw me wearing an apron.
ここってさ、魔女の館だよね。うちの学生寮だったんだ。
Ageha focused on the word student dormitory, as if questioning their suitability, and she gazed at the magnificent entrance. I was surprised too, to think that I would become the caretaker of the place we used to sneak into when we were kids.
いいなあ。私も住みたいかも。
I do find that a little interesting as far as, or I can relate to that kind of interesting thing. There was a radio station I used to listen with my mother when I was a kid. Now come to find out I'm actually working at that radio station. Man, how stuff unfolds. It's nice. I might like to like it here. Wait, what? I might like to like here too. I think that was meant to say I might like it here too.
だってさ、葵と一緒だったら絶対楽しいもんね。
So why did you come here? I asked while guessing what that perhaps she had come to invite me to walk to school with her. She is, after all, my #1 best friend.
おっと、そうだった。ハバネさんを誘いに来たの。
He called it. I was wrong. Miss Aruru?
リュウチーさん？
No, it's nothing. While blushing due to the misunderstanding, I looked back towards Kotori's room. Looks like she still hasn't woken up. Even if she gets up and takes her time eating breakfast, she can still make it with time to spare.
そっか。じゃあ待たせてもらおっかな。
I like this music.
ごちそうさま。
There's still some left.
悪いけど朝からこんないっぱい食べれないって。
You're joking, right? I only gave you a little bit.
運動部の子でも朝からこんな山盛りのナポリタン食べないよ。
Oh yeah, I guess. Kanako ate the whole thing again this morning, though. How was the taste?
美味しかったよ。
Really?
うん、ほんと。量が多いから途中で飽きてきたけど。
You think he's probably gonna go to culinary arts school and be part of the Shokugeki? Oh man, wouldn't that be a riot? Yeah, it'd probably be a riot if he was part of Food Wars. With good food, it tastes good no matter what. How much you eat. Oh, no matter how much you eat.
あんたの味覚って昔っから大雑把よね。
An unrefined palate? The shock hit me like a bolt of lightning. Insert sound of bolt from Final Fantasy VII here. I hung my head in dismay.
なんでそんなショック受けてんの？
I gotta picture him like crouching or just like totally like squatted down, hugging his knees and like a rain cloud over his head, you know? The truth is, Aga had revealed the reason why since yesterday the boarders hadn't been eating my cooking properly. I thought I'd ask her opinion, which is why I made Agaha some food and got her to eat it. It was made from leftover ingredients anyway.
朝から生姜焼きとかナポリタンとか果てしなく女子受けしなさそうなメニューね。もっとこう爽やかなのはないの？パスタにしてもトマトソース系とか和風にするとかさ。
Cooking for girls is so difficult. Boy or girl, we're all human. Tasty is tasty. That's what I believed. Just as I was seriously troubled by this, I heard the squeaking of turning wheels coming from down the hallway. First Hat the Duck came into the dining hall, then Kotori came in after him. It's the opposite to usual.
なんで私が。
Kotori rubbed her sleepy eyes and started preparing Hat's food. It somehow looked as if the hungry Hat had woken her up.
さあ、たらふく食って太りなさい。そのうち私があんたを食べてやるんだから。ガガー。
Not understanding her words, Hat quacks happily as Kotori speaks to him and eats his food.
アヒルだ。かわいい。
Kotori notices that Ageha is here and instantly opens up her eyes.
これコールダックだよね。テレビの CM で見たことある。ハバネさんが飼ってるの？私の部屋に勝手に住み着いてるだけよ。あなたここで何してるの？ハバネさん最近ずっと休んでるから様子を見に来たんだ。体調はもういいの？先生にでも頼まれたのかしら？そういうんじゃないけど、ねえ一緒に学校行かない？誰があんたなんかと。
Kotori gave a humph and made another one of those straight faces she's so good at.
でもあんまり休むと授業とか遅れちゃうし、あなたには関係ないでしょ？そうなんだけどね。そうだよね。ごめん。誰も今日休むなんて言ってないじゃない。勘違いしないでね。あなたに言われたから行くわけじゃないのよ。じゃあ待ってるね。誰があなたと一緒に行くって言ったのよ。私は一人で登校します。
Kotori said with a straight face, then turned her wheelchair around. Just as she was about to leave, she stopped the wheelchair and turned around.
あなたたち知り合いなの
？Huh? Yeah, we're childhood friends.
バカみたい。
It looks like she was even more of a bad... Looks like she has even more of a bad attitude this morning. However, she did say she was going to school. After tidying up the breakfast things, I left the dormitory with Ageha. On our way to school, somehow our conversation turned to Kotori. Is there a reason why Kotori stopped coming to school?
まあね。ハバネさんって足が不自由でしょ？ 2年で一緒のクラスになった時、そのせいで浮いてるような感じしたから、時々話しかけるようにしてたんだ。
That's so like Ageha to worry about that sort of thing. If there are any people who don't really fit into the group or are left out, she won't just ignore them. In the past, that's why I started to play. That's why I started to play with Mabo. So it couldn't have been for the same reason. So it could have been for the same reason.
けどハバネさんはあの調子でつっけんどんっていうか馴染む気がないみたいなんだよね。
Yeah, I can imagine that somehow.
そんな私とハバネさんのこと見てたクラスの子らがついに怒っちゃって、ハバネさんに物申したのが始まり。クラスの女子 vs ハバネさんの大喧嘩になっちゃって。
When Ageha reminded herself of what happened back then, she warily slouched forward. Ageha is cheerful and has many friends. Kotori, who didn't respond to Agaha's concerns about her might have been seen as the one in the wrong by those around them. Since then, she stopped coming to school?
そういうこと。いやー、あの時のハバネさんすごかったよ。クラスの女子全員を向こうに回して全然負けてなかったね。
Agaha was waving her arms around like someone from a kung fu movie and passionately tells the story. I decide not to ask her what kind of heroic deeds took place, or for any specific details. Well, I didn't expect that. Even just by saying something in a slightly harsh way, she gets all tearful.
なんでハバネさん、うちの学校に来たんだろう。だって授業も全然楽しそうじゃないし、友達も作ろうとしないし。
The only reason I can think of is that it might be because it has full disability access. In fact, that could be the main reason.
ああ、なんかしてあげられることないかな。
Looking at Agaha from the side as she puts her hands behind her head and starts thinking things over, I remember the withdrawal notice that I picked up last night. On the spur of the moment, I decided not to give it back and acted like I knew nothing about it. Is she really planning to drop out? It somehow felt like I had picked some heavy piece of lost property. The two of us both made troubled faces and walked as we walked. A quiet, strange commotion surrounded us. Most of the other students around us on their way to school were looking at the same direction. Over there was a tall, slender, beautiful girl walking along. Oh, it's her. It was the girl I met in the garage. Everyone was looking at her with curiosity, but it seemed that she didn't notice that other people were looking at her. I was looking at her in the same way as everyone else, but Agaha took the way I was looking in the wrong way.
ほうほう、さすがお目が高い。あの人はうちの学校の超有名人にして超留年生、望月あまね先輩よ。
Super repeat student?
そう、もう何年も留年してるんだって。
Is she that stupid? She doesn't look it though.
どっちかっていうと天才？成績トップとかそういう次元じゃなくて、先生ももう教えることは何もないっていうか、たまに教えてもらいに行ってるとかなんとか。
Cleverer than the teachers? Does our school really deal with in such specialized fields?
それなのになぜか卒業せず学校に居座ってるの。計画的に単位を落としてわざと留年してるんだって。本来規則で認められているよりも余分に留年してるから超留年生。けど珍しいな。朝の通学路で見かけるなんて。
I don't know if she's a genius or not, but she definitely seems like a pretty weird person. Then abruptly, super repeat student senior Amane Mochizuki stopped walking and looked at the sky. Everyone else mimicked her and looked up too. A jet plane flying through the blue sky, pulling its vapor trail along. Everyone soon realized it was a plane and quickly lost interest and started walking again. However, Amane kept on standing there, looking up at the plane flying high in the sky. When people came from behind and avoided her like she was in the way, she didn't pay any attention to them at all.
行こう。
Sure. Kotori arrived just as our morning homeroom class finished.
遅くなりました。
幅ね、もう体調の方はいいのか？
はい、おかげさまで。
そうか、心配してたんだぞ。
Kotori went past the homeroom teacher, who seemed bewildered that she had come back to school all of a sudden, then, still in her wheelchair, arrived at the desk. The desk right at the front, as the only one that didn't have a chair. Everyone looked on, puzzled.
私は動物園の動物じゃないわ。
Now that Kotori was in school, she started her cool allure routine again. She concentrated during the lesson and answered the teacher's questions easily when asked. It seemed like her grades in regular subjects are top class. During recess, she sat at her desk, reading a book or going off somewhere. She didn't try to talk to anyone, and even if Ageha tried to speak to her, she acted like she hadn't noticed. The other girls in the class looked like they were worried about how they would treat her and watched her from a distance. During gym class, the way they looked on, bored, left an impression on me. She always looked like she was all alone and didn't seem to be enjoying herself very much. Hey, Kotori! At lunchtime, I found Kotori carrying her bag, about to leave the classroom, and I chased her down the hallway. It's lunchtime, you know. What are you doing? Suddenly, Kotori dashed away at unbelievable speed. What? Hey! In the heat of the moment, I tried to chase her, but I thought I would bump into passing students, and I was too slow to start moving. In the meantime, Kotori had already gotten inside the elevator. According to the school rules, most students are not allowed to use the elevator. It was only supposed to be used by workers or teachers carrying big loads or disabled students like Kotori. Even so, I chased after her only for the doors to close mercilessly in front of me. Through the glass, the one with the self-proclaimed cool allure stuck her tongue out and headed to the floor below as I stood and watched. You are not getting away. And so the mad dash begins. I ran and made it to the school gate. She was holding her bag. It seemed like she was trying to leave early, so I went to cut her off. However, I can't deny the possibility that her lunch is in the bag. Maybe I got the wrong idea. If that's not it, then what could be the problem? Folks, I think I'm gonna give it a little cliffhanger right there.
クイックセーブ完了。
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a little cliffhanger right there. So, that's gonna do it for the stream today. Sorry for the miscalibrations of everything. I'm still getting used to this new OBS software, but I will get the bugs worked out. So by the next stream, it should be quite flawless. You know. So thanks for sticking around. And again, definitely apologize for the video lag. But again, I'm hoping to have that fixed by next year in January. Have a much faster internet connection. In the meantime, I have recorded this locally, so I'm gonna check, stop everything, make sure that the video is intact, and then I'm gonna upload it. So it should be up and available by tomorrow morning in the U.S. Time zone in the usually Pacific time morning. It should be up there, and that should be a lagless video. So thanks again so much for everybody for sticking around, and also just showing you up here real quick. Just going to show you, this is the upcoming streams that I have going. Got one stream that's going to be going for One-chan's Bedroom Discord for their game night. And for those of you who may be watching, that's been moved back actually to an earlier time. So currently that's going to be at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 2 hours earlier than what it has been in the past. And then on January, so that's on January 5th. Then on January 6th, we're gonna continue with If My Heart Had Wings, and then Saturday, January 19th, there's gonna be another Discord game night for One-chan's Bedroom. If you'd like to check out my Discord server, it's pretty quiet in there right now, but by all means, you're welcome to come in and check it out. There is a link, a hyperlink below that's labeled Sound Otaku under the category Discord servers. And if you want to check out One-chan's Bedroom, you're welcome to do that as well. The biggest thing, of course, is when we're in there in any of those rooms is mutual respect, as always. So with that, folks, I'm going to call it here. Thank you again for sticking with me this time around, and hope to see everyone in the future.